Okay, hello, welcome. I'm putting the hair up early because it's warm and we want to get stuff done today. Also, I forgot to say hello in the chat, so let me do that. Hello. There we go. All right. Hopefully we're all good. Apologies for I forgot to schedule this until this morning, about mid-morning, but I did get it done. I also got the rest of the week done as well. So, how we doing? I feel like we're starting things off kind of good this week. I have already tackled a decent amount of administrative stuff that had to be tackled this morning. So those are things that I can like check off my to-do list, which is great. Makes me feel like starting off the week strong. So yeah, that's how my day thus far has been. How about you? Hopefully your day has been good. Hopefully the beginning of your week will be great. So Monique is here. It says happy Monday. Happy Monday. Stacy is here. It says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Monique chose the Orion option, so the Betelgeuse star, because you have some memories tied to seeing that constellation. You feel like it's more of a grown-up constellation compared to Big Dipper, because it's a little bit more of a complex shape, I guess, that you have to sort of pick out and organize. Yeah. Okay, so the poll for today is in regards to a star in the sky, not necessarily a constellation, but some of them happen to be part of constellations. So which star would be your main character's favorite? Would it be the dog star, which is Sirius? Would it be the morning star, which is technically Venus? Would it be the North Star or the Pole Star, Polaris? Or would it be the Betelgeuse star, which is I think the right shoulder of Orion? It's a little bit more of a orangey red color than some of the others in the constellation. Not that we can always see the color with our naked eye, but you know. So yeah, that's the question: is which of those would be your main character's favorite star? Would your character have a favorite star? And of course, this also sort of assumes that they would be able to see, Earth's sky. However, this is also just like a hypothetical to get to know your character. So, Monique says, by the way, I have saved myself from the Hobonichi hype, hopefully. You bought a planner this weekend from a brand called Saturday Sunday. Check out their site. Ooh, okay. So because I think you're currently in a Hobonichi, is that right? I feel like that's right. Yeah. I feel like Sarah Cannon got sucked back into Erin Condren again. I mean, Erin Condren is a very nice planner as well, but I feel like Sarah recently has been like all into the Erin Condren again. So it's just kind of fun to see that. I've had one Erin Condren, but it was while I was teaching, and it was specifically a teaching one. And it never had enough space for like the grading and like how many kids I had and like all of that kind of stuff. So the pre-made planner was decent, but it was not what I needed. So after that, I was like, ooh, pretty cover, but like I figured out that it wasn't necessarily what I needed. So Orion is really easy to spot once you know what to look for, and you love how people used to sync the seasons with Orion's movement. Yeah, it's one of those that It does travel across the sky pretty predictably. So, of course, I just realized that most of these I think are going to be more familiar to Northern Hemisphere, I think. Can you even see Sirius from the Southern Hemisphere? Yes, you can easily. It's more prominent there than in the north. Okay, gotcha. There you go. So yes. Minik says if I had to pick, I'd choose stars in Orion's belt. So you find the belt more than the whole. But yeah, his belt and his sword are clusters that are easily picked out, I think, once you know what to look for. Stacey says my main characters would choose a North Star because they both don't really care for anyone and would choose the one that's the most well known. Gotcha. Okay, yes, you currently have Hobonichi weeks. Gotcha. Rita would pick the Orion anyway because she loves the mythology. Yeah. Well, it's like I wasn't intending to have the entire constellation, but like just that one star, because I know some people like the name Betelgeuse, and so they're like, that's my favorite. But yeah, some people are definitely gravitate towards the constellations rather than a single star, and I feel like that's good to know about your character. And also, apparently, I still have the second banner up. Whoopsies. Okay, so I do have to go into my journal and record all of the said administrative things that I did this morning, and then like the results, and like put some check-in times later next week to follow up and things like that. So I have to spend at least one sprint probably in the journal. And then I'll be able to edit, because today needs to be an editing day. I need to just like get some of the editing done, I think, at the front of the week. And that way I can have like more fun towards the end of the week. I don't know if this will last very long, but that's my intention, is to maybe try that for a couple weeks and then see how that goes. But yeah. So let's pull a cat or two. Okay, there's a link from Monique for the Saturday Sunday company's calendars and planners. Since I've just bought new journals, I will not be purchasing a pre-made because I have so many journals. So, and so many stickers and so many washi tapes and like all the fun things. Okay, so we have a poetry pause, as in like a cat paw, for the weekend. It says, I am a calico from Chicago. I listen to Zydeco and drink espresso. Anywho, that's all I know. So here is our poet, who looks like it's stared deeply into your soul until you're far too uncomfortable. And then we have a cutie pie for Mondays. Sometimes self-care demands finding a quiet, secluded spot to gather your thoughts. And look at this little dust bunny. Isn't that the cutest dust bunny you've ever seen? He's so floofy. So cute. Not quite a bread loaf. Hasn't achieved like paws under the belly. But very cute. Very adorable. Tiny kitty. Yeah, exactly. Super tiny. We need a card. Okay, and we have the hummingbird, which I saw one while I was sitting at lunch. So there we go. Number 34. So we have a tiny kitty and we have a tiny bird for today. So maybe tiny things we should maybe be paying attention to tiny things today. So be here now. The hummingbird's wing beats so swiftly it can hover in seeming stillness as it drinks deeply from a flower. The hummingbird comes to remind you that beauty and the sweetness of life is in the eternal now, the timeless present. Here and now you are becoming the person you wish to be, to have the experiences you wish to have. Focus your energy on the flower before you, for what you desire is being provided. Yes, there are blossoms everywhere. The choices can be dazzling. The hummingbird's message is that you have no need to go about in search of something better, for all that you require and desire is before you. You will know this as you become still, feeling your connection to the spirit who loves you unconditionally and will always provide for you. So there you go, hummingbird. Tiny bird and tiny kitty for today. So let's go ahead and pick out a timer. Let's see, I feel like we need a tiny critter. Do I have a tiny critter? I have, I do not have a super tiny critter. I do have, what do I have? Well, let's do the pug. The pug is kind of tiny. Monique says, definitely fits my mood because the muse for Drama of the Undead woke up. Nice. I've been meaning to ask you, and I think I may have mentioned this series before, but Monique, have you ever read Undead and Unwed before? There's a whole series, but I think Undead and Unwed is the first one. Come on. It's by Mary Janice Davidson. There's like a whole series, and apparently 3 different cover versions. I think I had the first one. You've looked up the recommendation before. Okay. Good. So I've at least mentioned it to you before. That's what I wanted to remember. Okay. All right. Let's do our teeny tiny little stinky pug for 25 minutes to get us started. So I'm going to pull up my document that I need to edit after I am in my journal. Hopefully it won't take me the full time in the journal, but we shall see. We shall see. All right. So 1, save document or pull it up. 2 is make sure that you have something to hydrate with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, how'd we do? How was our first sprint? I think I got all caught up in the journal, for the most part. Pretty sure. And I've got a space for reflecting on August in general, or if I need a couple extra days, because I still haven't done September yet. I'm still waffling on color palette and all of that. And also whether or not like some of the washi tape that I have ordered is going to come in before this weekend. Again, because I'm like, do I want to use the shiny new stuff? I know I should just go ahead and like do September and get it ready to use and be functional, rather than waiting on stuff and then having too many choices. I already have too many choices, but you know, it's fine. I have a little sticker that is not where it's supposed to be. So I was peeling that up. So sorry about that. Anyway, brain. Let's see. Monique says, I think the Two of Pentacles applies to me personally. Is this what you pulled for today? But you've had twos. This will make the third time in like a week span, I think. So you are apparently on a roll with twos. But anyway, do you think the Two of Pentacles is going to apply more to you personally, but also applies to character Rita because she's trying to balance out her personal life while also managing wedding stuff. Gotcha. And in your urban fantasy series, there are a few character arcs that you're also trying to figure out. Okay, so the Two of Pentacles could apply to some of them. Becca is here and says hello, or says hi, actually. Hello, welcome. Are you working on a chapter today? Are you working on a sewing project? What are you up to today? Hopefully it's something that is fun. Monique says, currently looking over my rom-com so far. I'm thinking it might be a novella. Nice. Short and sweet. That'll be good. Okay. I think I just keep coming back and seeing this, the collage paper for, I'm just like, this would make a fantastic, like, autumny, but this would also make a great Halloween October-y. So I'm like, do I just like lean full into the fall vibes? Do I, like, what do I do? Because this also, like, these are gorgeous. I'm like, I always associate September with that changing of the sky color to that just like that so blue, but it's like a deeper tone blue, but it's like crystal clear. And one of the tapes in particular, one of the washi tapes in particular from this set, this, I'm like, Wheatfield, are you gonna, let's see if we can get a, there. So it's got the gold gilding. I'm like, it's so pretty, so stinky pretty. And this is what I think of when I think of September and fall. Like, I know that's probably not like accurate, but this, like, that is what I think. And then they've got the, like, the lanterns and the moths. And I'm just like, they're so pretty. But I like this. This is what I'm very tempted by, to do for September. But then I'm like, okay, well, what goes with it? What do I already have that goes with that? And I have maybe some stuff that would go with it, but I'm not sure. And I could lean more into sort of like the yellows and golds, which I have more of, and just have that blue be like the accent color, maybe. blurred, it looks like a cityscape. It does kind of. Yeah. Yeah. The lanterns and they do, like when they're blurred. Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's like, do I go with something that I already have? See, I think these two pair a little bit better together. But then I don't know, like it's, anyway, I think I'm getting itchy because they're new and I'm like, I would use them and they're pretty, but I also like need to use up some of what I already have too. So I need to, I think, clear my desk so that I have room to spread things out and like compare and look at things. Because I have a good number of things. Anyway, right now you want to say shop your stash and combine with what you have with the new stuff. Yeah, but the thing is, like I have the new stuff coming as well. And so I'm like, do I wait until it arrives? But the problem is I don't have like a specific date that I have a date range, but it's like a longer range. I think it'll get here sort of towards the front end of that, but I don't know if it'll be here before the end of September. I mean, before the end of August. So I'm like, But yeah, fall vibes. I want fall vibes so bad, y'all. I found Mom and I went to Costco a week and a half ago. It might have been 2 weeks now at this point. And they had cotton sweaters. And I was like, they had one in like that deep hunter green. I'm like, must have. Thank you very much. So now I can't wait till it's cool enough to actually wear it. So yes, I'm with Funky. I need fall ASAP. Exactly. I need the cooler weather. I need the fall snap to happen. And just like, the clouds go away, the sky turns a darker blue. And just like there's that crispness in the air. Like I need that. The lack of humidity too. Like I really need the summer swamp air to go away. The summer swamp air is just yeah. Too bad we get fake fall. I know, but I'll take it. Like I'll take it. we do get a bit of fake fall here in the South. Yeah, but I'll take all the coolness that I can get, So, yeah. Okay. We need to do another sprint and I should be editing. That's the plan. The plan is to edit and keep my brain away from washi tape and stickers and things. I have a problem with that, apparently. I'm addicted to washi tape and stickers, apparently. So, yeah. Okay, but let's do this. Let's do the sprint. So 1, save document. 2, make sure you take a sip of whatever it is you're hydrating with. Cheers. 3 is to straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back. That posture check. Make sure that you're not slouching too much. And there we go. Make sure that you do your self-promo during the sprint, as well as make sure you answer the poll as to what your main character's favorite star would be. Would it be the Dog Star, Sirius, the Morning Star, Venus, the North or Pole Star, Polaris, or the Betelgeuse star, which is in Orion? All right, so self-promo and poll. Don't forget those. And here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How was our second sprint? It's just Bexy just texted. She's frustrated. So there was a truck that ran into a transformer pole. Anyway, truck met transformer. Transformer went boom. And part of the majority of her neighborhood, I would say, power went out. And that was 6:45 p.m. Saturday night was when her power went off. It came back on for like a few minutes and then went out again. And so it stayed off all of yesterday. Well, so all through the night, Saturday night into Sunday, and then stayed off. And they finally got it restored like at 10 p.m. Sunday night. And she just texted and said the power went back out. And this was after she spent the whole morning going through the fridge, freezer, cleaning it all out, and then going to the store to buy her perishables again. And she had just restocked everything. She was like, okay, I'm gonna go get some ice. I'm gonna go take some of this stuff to her mom's, just try and save some of it, because she had just gone to the grocery store the Saturday as well. So she had just restocked on Saturday. Power went out, stayed out. So food's no longer good. She had to toss it. So she tossed and cleaned everything this morning, went to the grocery store, replenished everything, and then the power went back out. So I'm hoping that the ice and coolers and, her mom's fridge and everything will be enough to at least save her current perishables. But that's frustrating, especially because she has 2 kids now. And so milk, the things that make life a little easier for parents, cheese sticks, that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that everything will go okay. It's a good thing she can work from home at the moment, because if she couldn't, she wouldn't know that until she got home, and that would be a mess. It'd be real frustrating. Okay. Monique has a question. Have we read books where there are multiple characters with separate character arcs? Yes. Generally, that happens with every book that you have a multiple POV. I would say each character should have their own character arc. Romance genres especially typically have one for each of the main characters. But then you also have things like Lord of the Rings, where you have the groups of characters that become a big group and then they splinter off. And so you're following either singular characters or pairs, and they are each growing in their own way. And so, yeah, Lord of the Rings is a great example of that. Monique was asking because you're going over your character arc for your urban fantasy series. Nice. Gabby experiences what you would call the main plot of Drama of the Undead. Gotcha. Susie discovers the extent of her fairy powers in between solving the mystery. And you also want to figure out when Andy is going to encounter his father. Also, you have to foreshadow that Valerie is a werewolf. Yeah. And figuring out how werewolves work in your urban fantasy universe. Yeah, so you have to kind of figure out what you want werewolves in general to feel like, whether or not you want them based on different kinds of canines. Because I've seen a couple stories where it's been pretty funny, and that one shapeshifter would be based off of a husky, and one would be a chihuahua, or and so So there can be some differences that are kind of funny in that regard. But you also, you have to figure out how you want werewolves to shapeshift. Like whether that's painful, whether that's natural, whether that's like, breaking their bones type of thing every time, or just like sparkles and fairy dust. Let's see, and whether you want them to be more like berserkers, whether you want them to retain their intelligence, you got to figure all that out. Monique says, link to My Ex's Vampire on Amazon. Here's that. And here's the itch link as well. Kara has new book promo posts up on Reader's Roost. There's the link for Reader's Roost, as well as the link for the Substack, where Kara has new posts. And Monique says 147 words in Notes for Drama of the Undead. There's one thing for sure right now is that the lycanthropy is genetic. So not contagious, but genetic. Okay. Funky got some work writing done. Excellent. Now time to brew the coffee. Yay! Yay for coffee. Coffee. My tongue and my brain are not running on the same page today, apparently. Funky says yes to Monique. Answering the question. The Game of Thrones books have a ton of characters where they each get their own chapter POVs, their own story arcs, etc. Yeah. Game of Thrones is also an excellent example. Yeah. I feel like the majority of the main characters in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time have character arcs. I wouldn't say all of them, but I would say the majority of them. You also know you're not going to do the whole Alpha, Beta, Omega stuff. That's going to be addressed in Howling Rush. Funky wants to know, is it serious werewolves or more sort of like light and humorous type werewolves? Monique says, I definitely want to avoid any unfortunate implications that Valerie's lycanthropy and lesbianism are tied to some sort of personal trauma. Probably a good thing. I would not have immediately tied those two things together, though. So, then again, I may not be the most discerning. Sometimes I don't get things the first read through. Sometimes it takes me a couple months, and then I'm like, oh, that's an interesting connection. Like I haven't been near the book anywhere, I hadn't reread it or anything. Sometimes it just takes me forever. I think the easiest way I can give you an example of this was that I think I first saw Monty Python and the Holy Grail when I was like, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13, somewhere in there. And it was years later. I was probably like 16 or 17 when I'm walking down the stairs, and for whatever reason, I was thinking about the French knight on top of the castle and him insulting the Englishman, and I never really understood English knigget. I just thought it was some sort of weird insult, and then it clicked. Because it's night, as in Knight. It was just, he was pronouncing it the way that it was spelled. And I just out loud, I was like, oh, Knigget, it's the night. And I was walking downstairs to join the family for dinner. And so my dad heard me and understood that I finally made the connection, and then started laughing at the fact that I had not made that connection for 4 years. And then suddenly it clicked. So I might have, no, I don't think I would have gotten it. I might have gotten it if it was written out on page, but it was it takes me a while. And then sometimes I don't know if you've ever read any of the Pierce Anthony, Xanth novels. Anyway, I think it's number 5. It's called Ogre. It's either number 4 or 5. It's just like so chock full of puns. Like his whole series, that whole series is full of puns, play on words and everything. Anyway, there's a plant that is spelled weird, but it's, if you sound it out, it's the IQ plant, and it makes the character smarter. And it took me like about halfway through the book before I realized. Again, like sometimes I don't click. And I feel stupid after the fact, but I'm like, oh. So yeah. It's going to be an intersectional thing because one of the themes in Howling Rush is addressing gender roles. Gotcha. Funky says, same. I get too involved in the story sometimes to like connect things. Yeah. Kara says, I would not consider those traits necessarily to be tied to personal trauma. Yeah, there's some people that try to always tie it to personal trauma is the thing. So, but sexual orientation is hardwired, and lycanthropy would be genetic. Yeah. I think that would be the way to explain it. So, all right, though. We need another sprint. It's 2:32. We're slightly over the half-hour mark, but that's okay. All right, let's do our rubber duckies. I'm going to see how much more of this I can edit. I have added like maybe like 250 words somewhere in there. Would it be too much of a cliche if Valerie's lycanthropy is tied to her menstrual cycle? I don't think so. I think it would, in a lot of ways, make more sense than being just tied to the moon. But again, it depends on your origin of lycanthropy. Because if lycanthropy is tied to the moon and her menstrual cycle is not linked to the moon cycles, then you may have some issues there. So I think it makes sense to me that there will be a connection there. But in fact, I don't know that I've run into much lycanthropy where it's tied to menstruation. I can maybe only think of one where it's like vaguely tied. But even then, it's sort of like more of a coincidence rather than like an ongoing thing. So I think that would be a good link to have it. It's how it works with female werewolves. Yeah, and that would make sense. That would make sense to me. Yeah. All right, let's do this. 1, save your work. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your back or roll your shoulders back. Straighten your shoulders, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. 4 is make sure that you can take a break if you need it. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's the third sprint. Hopefully we did good. I got a good number of words that time. Probably closer to like 350 or so. Again, I'm editing, so I'm just kind of adding here and there and taking away. So a little bit of both. So yeah. I texted Bestie a little bit more. She managed to get one bag of ice, the last one, at her local grocery. So progress. And she's gonna forward me the the unhappy letter that the HOA sent around. I think they're unhappy with Georgia Power. Which, to be fair, yeah. So I don't know if it was from the HOA to Georgia Power and the HOA just like copies in everybody. I don't know. But anyway, I'm kind of curious to see what it says. But yeah. Becca finished reading the chapter. It took longer than you thought, but now you're ready to write. Excellent. I'm glad we could help you do the read through, though. That helps. So, all right, y'all. I think I'm going to take a movement break for myself and then come back and maybe see if I can figure out what I'm going to do with September stuff in my bujo. So just make the decision to like go ahead and make it with stuff that I've already got. Hopefully. So hopefully on Wednesday when I see you next, September stuff will be done. If it's not, shame on me. But yeah, so got to do a movement break and then get a little bit more work done. Funky got some more work writing done. Yeah, and then a nap for me. I don't think a nap. I think I need to try and stay awake. But yeah, thank you though. Thanks for the sprint. You're welcome. Need to steal some of Funky's coffee, apparently. All right, let me end the poll. So by a pretty good margin, the favorite star is going to be the North Star by about 83%. And then 17% would choose Betelgeuse, which is in Orion. There you go. Yes, yawn. Exactly. I try not to do it in y'all's face, but I mean, sometimes you just got to. So all the coffee and teas. Yeah, I need something apparently. All right, y'all. Thank you again. Don't forget to save, and I will see y'all soon. All right. Bye.